There is a really big problem in Overwatch that I feel like we're not talking about it enough, and I really wanted to focus on it in this video. I'm not gonna waste that much time. Let's get straight into it. I feel like the biggest problem in Overwatch is with the balanced directions that we've constantly been going in, which a majority of I disagree with, and there's a minority where some changes and ideas I do agree with, and I'm open-minded to them. I feel like the game has started to emphasize and put a lot of stress and pressure on the concept of play denial and slowing the game down even more and more and more. And it's less about playmaking and more about play denial. And I feel like that as a concept has really stripped a lot of the fun from what made Overwatch so enjoyable. Now, I feel like if you look back at 2016 to perhaps early 2019 Overwatch, when we think about a lot of the interesting and unique things that made Overwatch fun, we think about all the crazy, Nano Blade, Nano Reaper combos. We think about things like Grav Dragon combos, the funny teleporter Cassidy plays and the Reinhardt Earthshatters with teleporter or Diva bombs and there was so much where it was like, hey, we can set up this like really funny play or like this really cool play that can perhaps win us this point and actually take over the game and then win the game from that point on. Nowadays, if you try anything innovative or creative, there's like one or two or three abilities from maybe perhaps, well, majority of the time it is the support role that is having so much power through their abilities to be able to deny you the ability to play make more often than not. And then you also have, tanks that nowadays are just so overwhelmingly powerful that playmaking on even just any three of the roles, tank, support, and DPS, is extremely punishing, and you're forced to adapt to this more play denial play style where it's all about kind of slowing down and instead responding to the enemy potentially making a mistake. Me personally, I don't think that's what makes Overwatch fun. I think instead what that begins to encourage is this idea that, hey, get into the team fight, but now just kind of chill out and wait for one side to make this silly mistake where you might have an overextending tank, DPS, or sometimes even a flanking support like 𝐒𝐿𝐄 or Lucio, where you just try to get that pick on them and then snowball the other team because the amount of resources that get lost in team fight are just that. Like there's so much resources gone that you might as well just either make a run for it back to spawn to quickly regroup, either get a pick immediately, or just enjoy the fact that you're going to get snowballed, because the chances are more often than not that person who's constantly flanking on Lucio or 𝐒𝐿𝐄 or Moira even is not going to stop. That person feeding on Genji or maybe even like a flanking soldier or venture playstyle, they're going to be the reason you just get steamrolled constantly because they don't learn that Overwatch is really not that much about playmaking anymore, and it's more about play denial. And I feel like, I was playing Marvel Rivals beta. I haven't gotten the chance to stream it on this channel yet, and I have some information coming up about it in just a moment. But when I was playing Marvel Rivals, I played it with somebody who just got into the beta, and with, Evie, as you all know, she's my lover and everything. So as we were playing it, there was a lot of moments where there was these big adrenaline rushes. There was a lot of moments where there was this hype of us, countering plays in an effective way and not necessarily from the most bare minimum input. It's something I've talked about before as well. So I was like, why is it that I don't get this feeling in Overwatch? I really wanted to ask myself this question. I even took the time to, sit down, really in depth discuss. Perhaps we should do a podcast and, show you guys our discussions. But we discussed for like 3 hours, like, what is it that Marvel Rivals is doing differently? Because, third-person shooters are not always appealing to people, but for some reason, this game just kind of gets it. And I was like, what I kind of feel like, there's a lot of abilities and, well, maybe not abilities, but there's a lot of ultimates in this game that can be considered somewhat overpowered or a little bit silly. But at the same time, it's like everybody kind of has something that's actually very OP, either ability or an ultimate that can play make so well that it's kind of like, we were discussing it and we were like, should the Marvel Rivals balance team go down this route where they try to tone these things down or actually play into them and lead into more of that hero fantasy? And we kind of came to this conclusion that in order to encourage fun, because that's what you play video games for primarily, is fun, you kind of have to keep that big explosive pop-up moments, like that's what's just so fun about it here. In fact, I'm gonna just throw a clip up from Marvel Rivals, and then we're just gonna switch to some Marvel Rivals gameplay that I'm gathering for a new channel that we'll talk about at the end of this video. Here's some of that gameplay. Hope you guys enjoy. Wait, I have an idea.
Okay, yeah, I see it.
Oh my god, woman, go. Go. Judge, jury. Oh shit!
Bye!
Classico teleporter play.
Damn.
Oh yeah, a super kill. Nice.
That's so fun.
Oh, that was good.
I got them. Oh my god, dude,
Nice.
this is so fun. Anyways, but as you could clearly see, there was a lot more emphasis on just being able to play make rather than deny plays, and these more explosive moments really feed into the fantasy of your characters. There was a time where Overwatch once excelled at these type of things too. If you guys remember to back in the days where, you know, Ana enabled the Reinhardts to go in and pop off, the Genji, the Reapers, the Soldiers, you know, like there was a time where you could actually get away with the Reddit Lucio playstyle. Nowadays, the Reddit Lucio playstyle feels so unforgiving from that perspective that like it's just the window of opportunity is so small to do anything, where it's just like, well, I might as well just stay with my team and speed and heal bot for a little bit until, you know, my tank gets a pick. And I feel like that over time, that style of play of just like grouping up into this one ball, you know, together as a team and only playing as one unit is the only playstyle that Overwatch is even in. And it's, again, like I said earlier, it just takes away from the fun of the game. Why does it take away from the fun of the game? Because you're just not allowed to do anything otherwise. I feel like that's what's so frustrating about Overwatch sometimes. It's like you are not allowed to play this one character here or there or with this comp or on this map. You must adhere to these rules. You must adhere to this composition the way it wants to play. You must play with your tank, or the other tank will just delete you immediately if you're a squishy, you know, like a DPS or support. And that's what I started to feel like, man, like, damn it, like, how did we reach this point? And another thing on the same note, I personally feel like the damage role is the most underwhelming and the most pathetic role that has ever been. I like, if I'm looking at the characters right now, like what, like there's like what, maybe 3 characters that are actually in a good spot to kind of fight back against the insane power of supports and the insane HP bars the tank have. Like what, like maybe Ashe. Okay, so like 𝐒𝐿 is even weird. Like before I would like be fine with like, you know, that 𝐒𝐿 is one of the DPS that can put up a fight, but 𝐒𝐿 has been struggling a little bit against the new armor too, at least in my opinion. You know, like Bastion's kind of meh. He doesn't really want to spend a lot of times shooting on target. He wants to melt targets one by one. You know, he was a big loser of the 250 HP pool changes because he's spending more and more time shooting people. And they didn't compensate him in any way. You know, Cassidy lost his range, which really affected the way he plays the game and allowed, you know, Pharah to kind of reign supreme. You know, 𝐒𝐿 and Genji and Hanzo, all 3, you know, of them are just kind of really underwhelming. Genji legitimately has no identity, and I will double down on that. Even if people think some, you know, otherwise, it's just not what made the character fun. Hanzo was a sniper for the past 8 years, and we just decided to remove his sniping ability and called it a day. And the hero is just so extremely unfun and underwhelming to play. Junkrat, you know, a lot of his, you know, community members loved his potential to combo and things like that. So what did Blizzard do? They removed the combo potential, and then they nerfed the wrong playstyle, which was just the turn your brain off and spam down a choke playstyle, which is exactly what Tank hate. So it's just like, Blizzard, like, what are you doing? Especially like the Junkrat changes was the most awkward one to me. It's like you can nerf his spam playstyle, which nobody likes, and then you can buff his combo playstyle where he actually is in risk of being deleted, being up close to people. But if he lands his combos, he should be rewarded for it. And the same thing applies to characters like Genji and even some cases Doomfist or even Venture, where just this combo playstyle has been completely deleted, and it's just about poking safely and then securing a kill if you can, and then just like hopefully moving in slowly with your team. And it's just so underwhelming. Like Mei is in a really awkward spot. She doesn't really like all the big HP pools either. You know, Pharah is thriving only because her damage numbers have not been adjusted. I can almost feel it that Pharah's damage numbers are about to be nerfed, and once that happens, she's just going to be another underwhelming DPS to play. Reaper's okay, but there's a lot of times where he just cannot do anything against the new armor and it feels underwhelming to play. Sojourn is horrendous right now. I don't know if you guys know, but Alec Dawson openly shared that Sojourn has the lowest win rate on a DPS, 44%. I think that speaks for itself. Granted that she did deserve nerfs, but come on, this is a bit insane. You know, I try to be fair to all the heroes. I think, like I've suggested, there's ways to make Sojourn work in the current environment. You know, Soldier, Sombra, Symmetra, Torbjorn is a bit of, yeah, Torb's like okay. Like, you know, Tracer's okay-ish, but Venture and then Widowmaker subjective to situations. But as you can kind of see, there's so many of the DPS that just feel so underwhelming to play, and DPS is the most popular role. But because the role has become so underwhelming, more and more of these players are either leaving the game, or they're playing tank because they get that power fantasy of, damn, I get to pop off and do whatever I want, or they go into support and they're just playing the more DPS based supports. You see a lot of BAP and 𝐒𝐈𝐈. Granted that both of them are the flavor of the month, they are the meta right now, and you're seeing a lot of zenyatas, you're seeing the DPS Moira and Kiriko playstyles. But why are you seeing that? Because they're the only roles that can actually safely pop off, because they have so much utility, so much resources, so much ways to take care of themselves, that they never have to worry about that, oh, I might make a mistake and immediately blow up. Like a Kiriko can make a mistake in her engagement and then there's like 3 ways for her to run away. Okay, Moira can make a mistake and then she just fades out of existence and travels across half the map. It's just like that trend just kind of goes on. Like 𝐒𝐈𝐈 can just snipe people across the map. Baptiste, do I really need to talk about Mr. 3 health bars himself, Baptiste. So it's just kind of like the way you kind of see it's like, and because of this nature that support is controlling the game more and more and more and dictating how the game can and cannot be played, it has stripped away a lot of agency from the DPS role. Because tank has become tankier and all this type of jazz, it's again stripped away from the concept of playmaking from the tank to tank war or the damage to tank war, and it's just emphasized this concept of like, well, rather than you play make, why don't you all just group up into one big ball? Let's see if somebody decides to flank and take an off angle, and as soon as that person shows their face on that off angle, we delete them and then we like steamroll the team. Because that's all that my Overwatch games feel like. I feel like it's the same thing on repeat. I feel like it doesn't matter what comp I play, doesn't matter what hero I play, the playstyle is extremely simplified. And we were talking about this a year ago. I was talking about a year ago where I feel like I don't think oversimplifying Overwatch is the way to go. I don't think incentivizing one particular playstyle for all 3 roles, except maybe support, we get a little bit more, versatility and flexibility in how they can play the game. But tanks and DPS just being subjected to stay on the floor and remain in one ball, otherwise you'll erupt. It's just taken away so much fun of the game. But, I go over to Marvel Rivals and, I've been playing the game, I've been enjoying it. I'm like, why do I enjoy it? I play all 3 roles. I played Strategist, which is their support role. I played, Vanguard, which is their tank role. And I played their damage role. And I asked myself, what is it that's making these characters so much more fun? They have the same, quality of approach into the gameplay that Overwatch once brought, but what is it about this game right now that really makes me feel like, damn, I'm having fun, when I'm playing the game and I'm kind of doing things, and I feel like the execution from Marvel Rivals it just encourages the concept of, no, go make a play. Don't sit here and wait for something to happen. Go out there and make a play. And any game where it felt like we were just kind of sitting around, we just got rolled over. There was just so much of that high speed fighting that was so much more enjoyable, and I think that's at one point that's exactly what Overwatch brought, and that's what made it so fun. And then there's the hero synergies that enables silliness, and don't get me wrong, like Marvel Rivals is a little bit of an unbalanced mess. They've done a great job with their first balance patch, and they tuned out some characters, they buffed up some characters that needed it, but at least the thing about the game is right now that it is fun. Anybody who's playing it is having fun. And no, I'm not on some creator contract deal. I didn't even get into those things. If I did get into those things, I'd have to do sponsored streams and things like that. I don't have any of that to anybody that'll accuse me of that. But I really do enjoy Marvel Rivals, and I can see that becoming a new main game for me. And on that same note, if you guys would be interested, I have a new channel now, which will be linked in the description as well as the comment section. And I will be uploading guide videos and all sorts of fun things Marvel Rivals related. So if you would like to journey with me in Marvel Rivals and explore that game and, see how that goes, more content focused on that will be on that channel. And I will be doing my level best to give away a free code to the beta. If you are not in the beta, I will be giving away a Marvel Rivals code as best as I can. I'm in contact with somebody. If everything works out, I will be able to give away that code. I don't want to make a promise that I can't keep, but like things are looking good. That's all I can say. Now, does that mean I'm going to be quitting content creation Overwatch? No, I feel like I love Overwatch way too much, guys. I've made a video on this game for the past 1 year, almost every single day. When there's realistically nothing to talk about, I came out with something and I was like, no, we should talk about this. We should talk about that. I love this game. I love this game. I love everything it has to offer. But I cannot deny that it's just what made it fun is not there right now. And they're in this weird loop where they're trying to figure out, what makes the game fun, but also in a way like, balanced in their vision. But the problem with this is we don't even know what their vision is, and that's the thing that pisses me off about Overwatch, is we just don't know what they want. They never ever give us an idea or a vision of what they want from tanks, what they want from DPS, what they want from support. Do they want DPS to be the underwhelming / quote unquote most popular role, so it's okay, like they always believe? I don't know. Do they want tanks to be these raid bosses that just control everything about the game and just can do whatever they want? I don't know. Do they want supports to be the best version of DPS and can also do more than one thing? I don't know, because they don't talk about it. But the thing about Marvel Rivals is they are actively talking about what they want in their game. And that was such a breath of fresh air to see the developers say things like, no, we kind of want a little bit more silliness in our game. No, we kind of want ultimates to be strong in our game because they're meant to be ultimate. Like, this is your ultimate ability. You're going to do something crazy with it. We just got a new subscriber, in case you guys heard the notification. But I was like, damn, you know, like, at least, like, I can appreciate the communication because it makes you absorb the game better. It makes you understand that, okay, this is what they want from their game. If I don't like it, I don't have to play it. But if I like it, I agree with it, I see their vision, then that's great. You know, and I agree. I feel like ultimate abilities in these type of games, they should have a little bit more power to them. You know, when we try to deny a play in Marvel Rivals, it is from ultimate to ultimate basis. When and there's like some tanks who or some cases where you can either escape different ultimate abilities, you can kite things, you can, you know, block things with Doctor Strange or Magneto shields, but there's none of this, like, you know, none of what's going on with Overwatch. It just feels like there's more emphasis on you to be able to have fun. Now, I know there's somebody that's gonna be like, well, it's the honeymoon phase, Abby. Dude, trust me, I played over 100 hours of the alpha and already I've chimed in a lot of hours into the beta. I just personally feel that the problem with Overwatch, the biggest problem with Overwatch, is it is unbelievably hard to play make. And even if you do play make, it's the problem with playmaking in Overwatch is you just need to get 1 or 2 picks, and that's considered playmaking nowadays because it'll enable a steamroll from your team. But a while ago in Overwatch, even in a 5v5 setting, you could have individual heroes just going crazy. You see Zenyatta's popping off, Genji's popping off, Tracers, Maze, you know, Doomfist, Queen, freaking Ramatra and Ryan. But right now, it feels all over the place. It just feels like, let's just deny the ability to play the game. Let's just deny the ability to play the game. Let's just kind of stick around in one big ball and not do anything. And personally, for me, this is the biggest problem with Overwatch and what just sucks away a lot of the fun. I'm not somebody who plays the Overwatch competitively anymore. I've done it all. I've been top 500. I've done it across 2 accounts in Overwatch 1. I've transitioned to a more coaching role, and now I just discuss the game and I play the game and I have fun with my community on it. But I don't understand why play Overwatch competitively when the game itself doesn't know what it wants to do. And let's be hilariously honest with ourselves, Overwatch is a casuals game. It is incredibly obvious that they only care about the casuals. If there's people out there that still believe that they care about Overwatch's competitive integrity and the balance from a competitive point of view, this game would be so much different. It's insane. This game would be so different. Like, just a minor thing is that the Genji versus Moira duel, or the Genji versus Winston duel, was actually a duel that took skill from both sides. And now it's so heavily in Moira or Winston's favor that no matter how insane of a Genji player you are, there's just no point. Because it's favored for them. Winston has too much HP and armor that negates your damage. Moira is, the list goes on. But anyways, everybody, that's going to be it for this video. If you want to enter the Marvel Rivals giveaway, all you have to do is click subscribe on the new channel that's going to be coming online. You'll find the link to it in the description or the comment section. And if you want to support the channel for free, again, like and subscribe to this channel and video. And of course, if you want to support me financially, we do have a Patreon online and channel membership. So as always, anything you guys do for me, I deeply appreciate it. I just kind of wanted to talk about Overwatch again because, man, like, pulling away from the game for a little bit and feeling that same rush of, damn, man, like, oh my god, I'm having so much fun with my hero, I'm popping off, you know. It just made me realize, damn, there was a point where I got that feeling in Overwatch, and now it's just so minimum that even that rush that I get is not a rush of excitement and joy that I'm doing something. It's more of like a sigh of relief that, okay, at least we'll win one team fight. It's just depressing, honestly. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. So see you there, and I hope you have a good day.